How's it going, guys? Today we are installing the APR brake cooling kit for the 2018 and up STI. Now this kit is comprised of two different parts you can buy separately or together as a full kit. The first part is the carbon fiber inlet brake ducts. Now these are engineered to funnel in massive amounts of air using the Venturi effect. So when your speed increases, so does the amount of air that goes to your brakes and helps cool them down and keep them consistent lap after lap. Now these are made out of a pre-preg carbon fiber reinforced polymer composite. So they are super lightweight and strong, and they're finished off in a nice UV resistant coating to protect against the elements. And just like your paint, you want to take care of these once you've got them installed. Now the second portion is the rotor backing plates and hoses. These are also made out of, well, the backing plate anyway is also made out of carbon fiber. So we're keeping that weight down while making a nice jump in performance. Now we're not actually going to be installing this on our STI because it has the Varus body kit on there and this is not going to fit in there. So instead we're going to be installing it on our WRX. Now keep in mind this kit was made specifically for a stock 2018 and up STI. So since we're installing on the WRX and it has an AP Racing Big Brake kit on there, there may need to be some changes. But if there is any changes, I'll make note of that in the video. Hopefully the backing plate doesn't need to be modified or anything like that. But like I said, if there's anything different, I'll let you guys know. And that being said, let's get this installed in the car. The first step is going to be getting the car up in the air, getting the wheels off, and removing the front bumper. Once that front bumper is off the car, we can install the inlet ducts. Go ahead and remove your OEM bezels, and this is going to slide right into place. You want to press in the outer portion first before you press in this side. And then once it's on there, we're gonna take a Sharpie and mark these two holes, remove the bezel, drill out those holes, and then you can install this using the included hardware. Once we have the inlet ducts installed, we need to remove the brake caliper and rotors to install the backing plates. Now, like I said, we've got the AP Racing Big Brake Kit on here, but the process is basically the same. There's just two bolts on the back that you need to remove. I've also unbolted the brake line to give us some more slack, so once I get the caliper off, I can put it on the lower control arm. So get these removed, and then we can install the backing plate. With all that out of the way, you're gonna see that you have an OEM backing plate in this area here that we need to remove. There's just 3 bolts holding that in place, 1 up top and then 2 on the bottom. We're gonna reuse 2 of those bolts to install the new backing plate. Now, we removed ours a long time ago, so I just need to install the new one. Luckily, I checked the clearance with the AP Racing Big Brake Kit and there is no issues, so I don't need to make any modifications to this, so we lucked out on that. I did have to drill out the 2 holes to accommodate the bolts that I'm going to be using since I don't have the OEM ones. But these are just going to thread right into place, and then we can put everything back together. The next thing we need to do is remove the windshield washer reservoir to access this support beam here that needs to be modified to make room for the hoses. So this, I believe, is just held in with 3 10mm nuts and bolts, 1 right here, 1 up top, and then 1 in the very back here. I do need to unplug the motor as well and unclip it. And then when you take this hose off here, the fluid is gonna start coming out. So I just had an extra line laying around that I put in its place and clamped it off so none of that fluid continues to flow out. Ooh, I forgot a harness down here. There we go. To remove this bracket, there are 4 14mm bolts that are holding it in place, 2 in the front here and 2 in the back, and you're also going to need to unclip this harness. We've got the support beam uninstalled. Now what you want to do is take a Sharpie, and then we're going to need to measure out some cuts here from the front. We need to measure 2 inches from the very bottom here and mark that. And then this way we need 3 3/4 of an inch from this end. So I've got that marked right here, and it kind of follows along this crease and goes up and then comes along this crease. And then on the bottom, I just followed this line right here all the way down until it meets that 3 3/4 inch. So I'm gonna get this cut up. I'm actually not gonna reinstall this on the car because we're gonna be installing the SubiSpeed front mount intercooler kit on this car, which requires you to remove this anyway, but I'm gonna get this cut up to show you guys what it's supposed to look like. So this is what the bracket looks like after it has been modified. You can see that this area here has been cleared, but like I said, we're not gonna be running this, so I'm actually gonna take this out. And the next thing we're gonna need to do is route the hosing, but you guys are actually going to have to modify a splash guard that we no longer have here. So what you're gonna need to do is cut a hole in the splash guard right behind the fender liner in this area right here so the hosing can go into the engine bay area. And then you also need a hole cut right after so that it can come back inside the fog light area so that it can mate up with the inlet ducts. Once you have the holes cut in the splash guard, you can route the hosing and then get everything reinstalled. So the rotors, brake caliper, the windshield washer reservoir, and then I'm going to bolt the bumper back up, and then we can finish routing the hose to the inlet ducts.